Hello and welcome to Shocking Sequels with Mark and Fraser. He's Fraser, I'm Mark. We watched Ooh Shock Treatment. He thought I wouldn't do that. Which is it's almost an obscure follow-up because I hadn't heard about it until recently, but it's the follow-up-ish to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's kind of like I think it happens a lot more now, where like you get the same team that do a different film, but it was connected to the Rocky Horror Show. Like it had returning characters.
And returning actors in different parts.
Yeah, well that's...
And different actors in returning parts. It was odd.
That's like... Because that's what usually like... Now we're getting... I think we're getting more... Probably did, but probably always have, but like... You know, directors and writers will work with the same kind of people. Like, there's a film out the time we're filming this, and it probably will be out when it goes out, called like Joy. And that's got like the same people who did Silver Line's Playbook or whatever it's called. So you kind of get that feel with it. But yeah, it was a sequel. It had like
Brad and Janet were in it, but they weren't played by Susan Sarandon and what's his face.
Got all what's his face.
What's his face? I've got it in my notebook. Barry Boswick, which was a little bit at the start. I was like, and I get it because Susan Sarandon 5 years after the Rocky Horror Show was like this super kind of rising star, and I get it, but it was still really sad.
It's hard to get him back. I think it's a lot of things that happen with sequels is sometimes they can't always get the first actor back, or they don't. I don't know if they don't want, like, actor or actress, they don't want to get him back, or they're like, oh, maybe we should try it without him, or...
I'd much prefer them to have the original actors in, because it does immediately jar, do you not think?
Yeah, it does a bit, yeah. I think, though, to be fair, it kind of stands on its own, because... I
think so.
Without massively comparing it, like, if you didn't have that thing in your mind of, this is the sequel to Rocky Horror Show, you're like... Oh, I like this. It's kind of its own thing. It's got like catchy tunes.
I don't think Brad and Janet needed to be Brad and Janet. It could have been Dave and Sarah or whoever, you know. And
anyone, because their characters were different.
Yeah, Janet in particular.
Changed
she obviously there was a lot of. She was under the influence of drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
But even before that, she was quite callous.
Yeah.
Which wasn't Janet from the Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah. These songs, I enjoyed the songs though. My favourite one was, I think, the second one we hear.
Bitching in the kitchen.
Yeah, with all the different items. It was
domestic
items. Yeah, domestic items, and then rhyming them, but like clean. It was good.
I liked that song too.
Yeah,
we both kind of like it was about 10 minutes into the film, and that song came on, and we both kind of looked at each other and grinned.
It kind of it settled you in for the film. You kind of enjoyed it and stuff. No, it was good. Got that catchy tunes, and you had a bit of a cameo.
I did not have a cameo. I don't look like Richard O'Brien. Why do you think I don't shave?
He's got a new cosplay.
I could totally do Cosmo as cosplay though. That would be cool.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Did you notice the kind of like people before they were famous? There was Sunita, Ruby Wax, Rick Mayall, and the guy who plays Dame Edna Everage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it had got quite a strong. Cast, but still an odd cast.
Yeah.
And I thought the guy who played Brad had got Brad quite well.
Yeah.
I think the girl who played Janet was given.
Yeah,
it wasn't
her.
It wasn't her.
It wasn't her. It was I'd say it was more the writing, where you still kind of liked her though. That was the thing. You got.
Well, you felt sorry for her once she realised what was going on. Yeah.
I think that's one thing it did as well, because it's all based around obviously this new TV. I think I want to say company, which there was a very subtle reference to and the little Nazi logo with the
there was.
with the F's, which was kind of
subtle
like,
at all.
no.
It was not subtle.
I was kind of trying to say it with my tone of voice, but no.
It looked like a swastika.
Yeah. But no, it was very like, it was such a like social commentary on like the power of television, how it like manipulates, and the idea of Americana and how America is seen as this like land and like family and all that, but it's not always true, and sometimes there's some manipulation there, and they have a studio audience which sleeps in the studio, which is a bit...
The whole town was the studio. It was. I like surreal stuff. I always like surreal. And the Rocky Horror was surreal too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing where it suffers from having the Rocky Horror name to it.
I think so.
Because people are comparing it to it, and this one had social commentaries, but not as many as Rocky Horror Show, and not as many groundbreaking ones.
Rocky Horror was ahead of its time in a really controversial way that got it banned in a lot of countries and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I still think this was wonderfully ahead of its time. It predicted, like you said, the influence of television and media and how people are portrayed and mass hysteria in an incredible way. Like a lot of science fiction predicts stuff, and then you watch it back and you go, shit, they predicted that. And I guess the audience at the time wouldn't have the hindsight that we have, so we're giving it more because we're impressed with what they predicted.
They just say that, and I think it reminds me of a film I really enjoyed as well, The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, where it's the same idea about the power of the media and TV. And I think I was watching it going, this is just like it. And just like, it's good because it relates to stuff like you got Celebrity Big Brother and like all these reality shows, especially Made in Chelsea and all that, where it's just like everything's fake, because one of the characters is when the TV's on, he's blind, and then when the big release happened, they were all building to this event, this television event. He can see, and everyone goes, "Hey!" So, and every reaction as well. There's those applaud. It's all controlling.
I really like it. It's dystopic. It was macabre in a lot of places, and it was wonderfully surreal. But it wasn't really the Rocky Horror Show. The Rocky Horror Show was a similar kind of vibe in as much as it was giving you a message that was ahead of its time. It was bang on the money with everything it was saying. But I think it replaced the names Janet and Brad with Bob and Sally, and I think people would have responded to it better at the time than they did.
I think they shouldn't have put... This is probably like reminiscent of the time though. They shouldn't have put the sequel to. They should have put from the people who who gave you, like they do now. Mind you saying that, Fantastic Four said by the people who gave you X-Men Days of Future Past.
Was it? Oh.
When really it was the people who gave you X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine was okay. It was okay.
It was not. They had to get rid of it, hadn't they? They just had to... No, that didn't happen. Getting a new Deadpool though, so...
I'm looking forward to that. We can't watch Deadpool, that doesn't count as a sequel.
Unless he brings out a second one.
Yeah, we could watch Deadpool too. Anyway, fine. We're talking about Shock Treatment, and Shock Treatment... Tangent. Shock Treatment was genuinely very good. I don't really like musicals. I like Rocky Horror, and that's an exception.
Yeah.
I like Shock Treatment, and that's an exception. But you don't get many sci-fi musicals, and that was clearly sci-fi.
It's good, yeah.
Even though transsexuals from Transylvania, and then they end up being from another planet in the Rocky Horror. But Shock Treatment was clearly more obviously dystopic sci-fi than Rocky Horror was.
Yeah.
And I'm all for sci-fi musicals because I might like more musicals if there were more sci-fi ones.
Oh, I wouldn't say stuff like that though, because you've got all these Broadway shows, aren't they? Just going, we'll make a movie, a Broadway show, and then never the same. But no, I think I'm glad it's a sequel because we get to see it. But again, it should replace the names Brad and Janet and then put from the people who brought you, and I think more people would gravitate towards this. And this is a great way to bring it to the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, okay.
So the Rocky Horror Show is at 80%.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
50 slash that in half. So over or under 40%.
You see, I really, really like Shock Treatment. I really enjoyed it much more than I thought I would because I knew it had really bad reviews. It was a massive flop. So I think it's unfairly maligned. I'm gonna say it got about 30.
Yeah.
On
Well,
Rotten
I was
Tomatoes.
kind of unfair to you there, because I said over or under, where I should have said over or under, or halfway exactly. This was exactly 40%.
Okay.
Which
I think 40 is
It's one of
harsh, but not too
it's
harsh.
one of those things, though, isn't it, where it's like, unlike I think most of the sequels we've seen, this is very like it's an example of sequels in general. They're usually, oh, I liked it, but it wasn't as good as the original.
Yeah.
Which I think this was it, and I think that 50% thing that we done, this is a prime example of why it's good, because it's like, it's good, it's not quite as good as Rocky, I nearly said Rocky then.
No, Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror Show. Yeah. Yeah, Rocky Horror Show. So I think that 50% thing is good, so we have a system that works.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as Rocky Horror, but I liked it a lot more than Titanic 2
Oh, brutal.
and Mean Girls 2
And
and what other shit have we watched?
we've watched RoboCop 3.
RoboCop
Hellboy
3.
3. I reckon it was on the Bambi 2 scale. Bambi 2 was good.
Ooh, I'm not sure it was quite as good as Bambi 2. It was pretty damn good.
No, but
though.
you know, it was closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's closer to
if
Bambi 2.
we're splitting them into two.
Yes, it's definitely with Bambi on the good side.
Yeah.
The songs weren't as good as Rocky Horror, but they were good.
I like
The song,
yeah.
I mean, I will have ooh Shock Treatment in my head for the rest of the day, maybe the rest of the week.
I've still got from callback from season 1. I've still got this from Home Alone 3, which I hated.
It's a terrible song.
Which I hated, but the song's just in my head now. I don't know why.
Talking about Home Alone 3, we watched, I can't remember what it's called, I'll put it in the bottom if I remember, the Home Alone kind of 20 years on follow-up with Macauley Culkin reprising the character of Kevin.
His amazing role.
When he was in his 30s.
Better than Home Alone 3.
And it was superb.
That's what I want to see. That's what. Well, there's a Home Alone 5 now.
There is a Home
That's
Alone
what I want Home Alone 6 to be.
What? Psychotic Kevin?
After, yeah. What happened? What, like, it takes a toll on you.
Look it up. If I remember, I'll put it in the bottom. Look it up, because that was worth seeing. It's 5 minutes of follow-up joy.
It's amazing, yeah. It's good.
And right, next up, because we're always going to watch a Disney, because
Yeah, this
why
is
not?
a trend.
Why not?
Keep it going.
We're going to watch Kronk's New Groove.
Aye. Follow-up of Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, which is one of my favourite Disney, so it better be good.
Yeah.
If it's shit, I'm blaming you.
Why me?
Because I can.
Alright, fair enough.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.